Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Conrad and Kathy DeMattias. We are coming from our home in Newark, Delaware. So, last night before I went to bed, I was thinking about what the topic was for today, and the words yielding my magic came like that's like what was on my head. So, I wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget it for this morning, and which reminds me, you know, a lot of times we go to bed at nighttime and we get these great ideas that pop into our head, and we wake up in the morning and we forget, and we're like, man, I had something. So I would encourage you to keep like a piece of paper and a pen beside your bed or your phone where you could get up and, write a note in it. I've been doing that now. The first mentor I worked with, that was something that she had encouraged me to do, and it took a while to get it into a pattern for me to do that, because I had been out of the pattern for years. And this would be, and something, we're coming up on the holiday season right now.
hmm
And when I was a child, I remember I had a diary, and that was something that, I wrote in every single day. And I wish to God, like, I wonder where that diary, could possibly be. I'm sure, it's probably been thrown away, long gone or something. But, it would be really, really interesting to see,
hmm
what did I, write down when I was 8 years old or 9 years old or something. So with the holiday season coming up, if you, have people, young children around, I would encourage you to pick up a journal for them, so or a diary, so that they can start to write their thoughts. Writing has an incredible ability to be
hmm
able to release you from the day's events. And we're not doing that. We by the time we go to bed at nighttime, we have all the stuff that was on our day, and we really didn't release it. And then, by writing it all down. And then we go to bed, and, all this
Wide
stuff is
awake.
still, yeah, we're wide awake, and everything is still, rolling in the head. So the topic today is yielding my magic.
hmm
And, and I was working on a client last night, and I have this, and I remember my first mentor told me, she goes, oh, you're going to attract a lot of people, just like you. And, you'll be bringing people to the fold. And she was so right. Like, she's so completely right. Like, it's just like, and it's amazing because the sessions, like, each and every time wind up being, I get something at the end, and I'm like, wow, this is so awesome. As she was explaining to me, there's two people outside the door, and you know, and
hmm
and and it's, when I'm so used to my relatives in spirit being around me, that realistically I feel them all the time, and I'm just so used to their presence. They're here. So it's kind of like, it doesn't feel like it's any major big deal for me, but it's wonderful when another person who can see them can point it out for me, and it just reassures me that what I have been feeling, other people are seeing too. So I'm not, as crazy as what everybody would like, to think when they talk about not understanding, or having an appreciation for somebody who has these particular gifts. So yielding my magic.
hmm
And when I did this gigantic painting upstairs where there was this big ball of energy, and the energy was me. And off of the energy, off of that big ball, I used my fingers, and I had like these sprays of ideas that were coming off of that big ball of energy.
hmm
And I realized that it was all the magic that I was yielding. Everything, like everything that goes through my fingertips, everything that I work on, everything that I create,
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, yielding your magic, like when you think about how you yield your magic, you know, what do you do that makes a difference to the world? And what is your purpose here? What did you come here to do? And you know, one of the things that I've really realized about myself is that I really truly am a teacher, which is probably why my summer is always off. Like I
Mm-hmm.
always pretty much don't work, you know, like I really don't work a lot during the summer months, which is really a teacher schedule, you know, when you think
Mm-hmm.
about it. And so you know, it really does make a lot of sense that the summer months, you know, are a wind down for me,
Right.
and where I can regroup and charge and recharge myself. And for years that has been very frustrating for me because you know, it was a dip in income. And you know, that dip in income always really affected, you know, always affected me. I've always gotten through it, always managed to get through it. I mean, I've
Mm-hmm.
managed for the last 20 years, but it also always fired my ideas up. Like, you know, having that loss of income for you know, for those 3 months always made my mind work to see what else could I do that could generate an
Income.
income to support myself with. So, though, you know, it was always frustrating, it was also always a blessing because most of the, I mean, when I created Fubella's, that was in June, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when I heard about the, you know, like I started, you know, really pumping out stuff that summer and really starting to create things.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I really realized, you know, how my pattern was that where I was the busy bee, and then when did I heal, and then when was I creative, and when was I doing what? And a lot of that I realized just from writing. Writing really gave me that window to be able to do that. So, Connor and I have been, so there's an interesting thing. So one of the persons last night had said about, you know, Conrad and I being in bed here, you know, without, you know, any clothes on and being in bed. There was a reason behind, you know, why we did that. And one of the biggest reasons is the first video got over 1,000 views within a couple of days. That was a big enough reason, to be quite honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're trying to market yourself and you're trying to get yourself, you know, out there, you're trying to figure out, you know, what is going to work, what's going to grab somebody's attention. And my sister has always said to me, it doesn't matter whether the attention is perceived positive or whether the attention is perceived negative. Attention is attention is attention.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when I was comparing some of the other videos that we did and looking at the amount of views, by far this one did. So, for whatever reason, naked people make curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
I and there's this song that I wrote called Diamonds in the Sheets. And what the song Diamonds in the Sheets was all about was, as a massage therapist, I've worked on naked people in between a set of sheets for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I see us all as a diamond. So for me, there's always been diamonds in between the sheets. And I'm a diamond, and you're a diamond,
Right.
and we're in between the sheets. And there is, you know, in the book that we wrote, My Journey to the Center of Love, we wrote that, and I wrote that to explain who I was and what my experience, where my experiences in life have taken me, and what we did that wound up building, making our marriage really, really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's difficult to be in a marriage and in a relationship, and there's two people who are coming from two separate worlds, and your eyes lock, you look at each other, you fall in love, and then you realize that he doesn't pick up his clothes, or that they or that it's more important for the car to look pristine, but the heck with the house, let the house look like trash. And you're like, "Ah, I had no idea." So and then all the things, that, like, oh my god, she hogs the bed, or all these things. So, and you're just really trying to learn how to maneuver with somebody who you never really maneuvered with for the first, what, Faye, 25 years, 30 years of
Mm-hmm.
your life. It's challenging, and it's an amazing journey.
It
and
is.
and when I talk with people who are at the end of a relationship and going through a divorce, it pains me to feel what they're going through. And I so bad want to just like scoop them up and mother them and love them, and and tell them that everything is going to be okay. Really, everything is going to be okay. Um, the I knew I knew the struggles that I was facing to find myself were real. And I knew that a lot of people, when I'm 47, and a lot of people get to this age in their life, and they go through that shift, and a lot of times they leave, one will leave the other to find themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very, very well aware of that, and I did not want to be one of those people. I did not want to have to start all over again, having a man, having to learn and maneuver with another man. And so, like, there's a couple little there was like these little exercises that we built into the program that we put together to help an existing couple if they needed some ironing out, some crinkles in the sheets.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was things that we put together for the individuals that I thought would be a good step, good moving forward. So it's just been a big learning process there, and
Every day.
every day. And doing these videos, has been hard. Like, I've been working with LaShawn Shelton. I'm supposed to be doing these videos 5 times a day. Oh my gosh. I'm like, oh my, how am I going to do this? But it's about building up your courage. And each time you do those videos, realistically, I'm practicing. I'm practicing, and practice makes perfect sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been doing, and that is a part of yielding my magic, is practicing my craft, using my hands to do whatever it is that I do, whether I'm cooking something, whether I'm painting, whether I'm making a product,
Yep.
whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm going to read from, in my book, from chapter 12 is called Rebirth. And on page 96, I wrote about, this is the very beginning, this is what I wrote. On February 1st, 2017, I had a dream I was being drowned. I could feel death, but it didn't feel like me dying. It felt like I was with God and I was getting ready to explore a new area. I was floating in the ocean, and all I could remember was a sense of peace. It is strange, for I also remember feeling myself under the water. I knew I was being held down. I don't remember any fear. I didn't even think I was dying. What it felt like, I was getting ready to go into heaven, and I was so excited. I could not wait to cross into the opening that was up there in front of me. I could see it clearing, and it appeared to be lined with a fluffy gold type of mist. I knew I was flailing my arms around to swim towards the bright light. It was this energy drawing me in that I wanted to be in so badly. Just then, Wednesday, our cat scratched at the door, and I woke up from my dream. My first thoughts were, oh no, I was almost there. So, in that dream, which I've attempted to paint that dream, and even though as I attempted to do it, I knew this painting is not done. Like I keep looking at this painting, and I feel, there's I feel that I didn't paint the turmoil into the sea that
Mm-hmm.
was really
There.
happening, that was really there. And the reason why I was flailing so much into that ocean, I was dreaming about my metaphysical death. So, in other words, a part of me had to die. This was a few days after I was told to start writing, back when I was told on January 27th to start writing again by my father in heaven. And February 1st was just 4 days later when this dream came in. And I had been dreaming all through the month of January about a man who I used to work for years ago. Very, very rich man. And in the dream, I picked up his wallet, went over to him, handed his wallet back, and kissed him and said, I'll make I'll make my own husband a rich man. And that, I had no idea that I was emulating this very wealthy man's money. That I really did want, I really wanted, some of the finer things in life, and to be able to use that money to be able to do some of the things that this man was able to do, with the money that he made. And I admired that in him. Like, that was something that I really admired. And I wanted to be like him, and to be able to learn how to yield the magic that he did. I was very, very impressed by him, and I wanted to be like him. And it took me a long time to work my courage up to work as hard as what he did,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to yield the magic that he yielded. There's been so many people over my lifetime that have influenced me and helped me, along my journey. And I just can't help but, you know, pay homage, to people in my heart that I just know helped me get me where I needed to go. And then equally, there are people, in our life that are the naysayers, the people that try to hold you down and tell you that you can't do something, or
Mm-hmm.
that you shouldn't do this, or I don't like how you're doing this. And and I there's this quote that says, "Do not judge another person's journey. You don't know what God has asked them to do." And what Conrad and I feel very strongly about, that our journey has been about, was about resurrecting a marriage, our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, from the get go, we were guided to do certain things that would keep our marriage strong. And it's really worked. It's really, really worked, because the stress of life is so difficult. There are just days where, you're just thinking, I've just got to throw the towel in. I just
Mm-hmm.
can't, move forward, with this person any longer. And and to say that I don't give up easily is an understatement, because I don't give up. I don't give up on, like, I will breathe something in until, I mean, I probably could try to resurrect a corpse, to be quite honest. Like, I would try. I would try. I would. It's like, oh, you're blue and cold? Oh, well, let me keep trying. I'll resurrect you. Like, no, there's life in there somewhere. There is life. Lazarus. I can do this. And but that's just how much that I believe in the cup being full. And I will, and some people could look at that as a downfall for me, but I look at that as like perpetual hope.
Mm-hmm.
Like I try to have perpetual hope in something, and try to see the good. I try to see the good in everybody, even though I will know right from the get-go, don't do it. Don't engage this person, Kathy. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna have a trouble. But you don't know the trouble until you engage them and figure out. And then you're like, oh, yep, I was right. There were trouble. But, you still have got to, going through the experience, you get to learn something from it. You get to learn and back yourself up why you had the initial instinct to begin with. And if there's anything, like there's so many things, so much magic that I want to do in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I could say about myself is I love people. I absolutely love people. I love to help people. I I love it. Like one of the I when the spirit goes through you and you feel that spirit go into somebody else, when I'm doing work on people, and you feel where it comes through. Like the woman last night was saying, oh, she's like, it was like a whoosh. Like I felt this whoosh go over me.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to be able to do that. I love that I have that ability and that people can feel that when they have a session with me.
Mm-hmm.
That they and then the fact that the ringing in her ear ceased was, a ringing in her ear that she had for 10 years
Mm-hmm.
literally ceased. And that's a really cool, like that's really good. It's good to know that you affect people, and that the things that you do make a difference to somebody else. And you know that gives me a great, like that gives me a really great sense of accomplishment. And and this has just been an incredible journey.
Mm-hmm.
And to any of you right now who are going through a really hard spot in your life, I wanted this is one of the things that when we started this change, I read this one book from Mike Dooley called Manifesting for Change. And in that book, he said, don't tell anybody what you're doing because people will think you're crazy. But I knew from the get-go, and I was told from the get-go, that I needed to post everything on Facebook. And I think the reason is because it's always this quiet mystery how somebody achieves, what they've achieved. It's matter of fact, other books like The Secret, like
Mm-hmm.
it's a secret, not everybody,
Knows of it.
not everybody knows of it. Like not everybody knows how to yield their magic. And for some reason, I knew I was supposed to post all this stuff on Facebook. And and realistically, Facebook is a time machine. I don't know if anybody's figured this out yet,
Mm-hmm.
but Facebook is literally a alive and breathing time machine where you can go on this thing and go back in time and see all this evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So, in all reality, I have a timeline on here that shows my growth, which shows your growth.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't really post what's going on in your life, or what's happening in your life, you might want to think about that, because when that time hop comes up and you're able to look at that and go, oh my God, that's where I was last year. Look at where I am this year. Like I'm moving more towards my goals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wonderful tool, to use to be able to be able to see how far you've progressed. And everybody, I have made it no secret that my goal is to have a bed and breakfast. My goal was always to have a bed and breakfast. I really envisioned that we would have weddings. And to be quite honest with you, I really did build a program to help couples really nurture their relationship. And really, the coup d'etat would be able to marry them at the end. Like, that
Right.
would just be like, yes! So, I have goals and I have dreams, and I work every day to get to those dreams. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. What are your dreams? What do you envision for yourself? What do you want for your future? Who are you? Who are you? What shaped diamond are you? What do you want to do with your life? And I what's that song? I want to rock. But think about that. He was saying is I want to rock. Well, what is a diamond called? A rock. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So if you look at Twisted Sister, it was Twisted Sister, so if you look at that, if you look at how lyrics have a way of really speaking to you, and and they really just have magic in them, and that magic really is the Holy Spirit. And you have to understand that people are on different levels, and you have to reach people. What you're going to attract is where somebody is on their level.
Right.
And so some people might be at this level number 1, and other people could be at level 20, and you're going to vibrate. And that's why you notice that some things you do at some some stages of life, and other things you do at different stages of life. And it is really all about this journey, and it's a beautiful experience. I encourage you to record your experience, record what your life is. It's an absolutely amazing experience. And I'm positive at the end of what you've written, you're going to be able to look through those pages and really see that you are a person of value. You are a person of extreme magnitude. Like, you are amazing. You are an absolutely amazing, beautiful light being. And how lucky it is that you are in the world today, and that you get to be here and experience all this. So I want you to send off to the day having a great day. Look at and see, what can you do? And I want you to enjoy this life. Enjoy this life as much as what you can. It really is a great, great experience. We want to thank you very much for joining in. You can find us on Facebook, and find us, our products you can find all on Etsy. If you could like and share the button, we'd appreciate that. Is that it? Okay. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.